Angry voters got Congressman Mike Coffman's attention. He sits down to talk about his spicy town hall and one particular comment. Do you regret saying that?
Yeah, I kind of do.
I'll have a word on getting real about so-called fake protesters, seeking a higher power inside Denver's International Church of Cannabis. And we found out two things about our Jeremy Ahola. He's a fierce defender of women, and he has a filthy mouth. That next. Congressman Mike Coffman is still standing after his bruising town hall last night, where he was booed, jeered, and shouted down by angry voters. The Republican from Aurora says his job is to listen to those critics. In talking with me today, he defended those frustrated constituents from attacks by his own party. The Colorado Republican Party said that the voters in the town hall last night who were booing you were fake protesters. Do you think they're fake protesters?
You know, I really don't. You know, God bless the Republican Party for what it does, but I don't. The fact is that they had to register for the event because we wanted to make sure that the people were from the district. I felt they were very committed to their issues. Granted, the audience leaned left relative to the district, but they're the people that are most concerned with potential changes mostly to Medicaid. And so I respect the fact that you know, that they were there, that they were voicing their views, and they were not shy about it.
Clearly there are groups of voters who get organized to go to these events to make noise, sure, and your opponents are going to make hay out of that. And conservatives did the same thing when Obamacare was coming down the pike a couple of years ago. Do you wish that folks in your party would move past the idea of calling them fake or paid and just engage?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the fact is that I think that that the reality is that sure there are some organizers there, but the vast majority of these people are simply committed activists in their own right, and they are not paid. They are simply this is where their heart is, and I respect that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and certainly anybody who was there last night who was also an organizer was also a voter, a constituent of yours.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you, why do you go to the grocery store that you do? Is it just location, prices, selection, a particular employee? There's a King Soopers in Arvada where there's a cowboy who brings them in and makes them feel welcome. We meet him through the lens of our Cody Broadway.
Cowboy is one of our courtesy clerks. He's been here for a long time. Very enjoyable guy, happy-go-lucky, loves to say partner all the time. He really engages with the customers and makes them feel at home.
Yeah, here, sir.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Cowboy is one of our special needs people that just helps us do almost anything, you know. Everybody comes in and they come in and say hey to Cowboy.
Hi, Cowboy.
Hello, good partners. Going on there, partners. Teach your mama how to. I got mom. I got family. Push buggies, partner. Push buggies. I bag groceries, and I give everybody else a hard time, partner.
He's always smiling. That is a key of being up front in this environment, and he's making other people smile, and that's contagious, and that's kind of, you know, it kind of spreads around the front end, and it's fun. It's a fun atmosphere.
Thank you for
You're
helping.
welcome, man. He likes to tease people, so he'll. A lot of the customers, as they come through, will go, "Oh, there's big trouble now." But it's just his way of kind of chatting and talking to them and kind of breaking the ice before they get to the check stand. I make them smile. I make them smile. If they don't smile, I have to go on and give them a hard time for it.
You know, he's a great guy. Fun to be around. Fun to talk to. He's got a lot of good ideas. He's a very intriguing personality.
You know, he's a good kid, and he's doing a good job. And come in and say hi to him. Come on, partner. Start there, partners.
Cowboy's been working at King Soopers for 31 years. We met him after we asked you to help introduce us to interesting people you know in your neighborhood. Chrissy emailed us and wrote, "Grocery shopping may not be a chore that people look forward to doing, especially during busy times of year, but with people like Cowboy there to greet you and make you feel special, well," Chrissy writes, "it certainly changes the experience for the best."
For more than a century, it blended in. Until color bled from walls of the 113-year-old church.
It looks like an old church that had some stuff painted on the outside, to be quite honest.
Neighbors noticed the new paint on the outside and in.
Very visceral experience to walk into a 113-year-old church and see this much color. We have two of the most famous artists in the world who have contributed murals to the space.
No longer a traditional church.
You know, we're much more of a colorful crew here.
Unless you're one to worship with weed.
We are currently in the International Church of Cannabis in Denver, Colorado.
New tenants started a nonprofit and brought a new religion they call elevationism.
Elevationists believe that one can find the path to spiritual fulfillment through the ritual use of cannabis.
Steve Burke's family bought the church, and he's the landlord.
And we're super proud to have restored it and bring it back to the community in a new way.
A new way neighbors haven't seen before. Neither has the city.
I don't know what to make of it quite yet. You know, I share my constituents' concerns, and that I want to make sure that we have safe and vibrant neighborhoods and that we have people playing by the rules.
This is not just a bunch of lazy stoners getting together to get high. We really want to positively impact the Washington Park West neighborhood. We want to do great things for the community.
These colorful doors open to a congregation on 420.
I hope they're respectful of folks who have lived 50 years on this block.
For next,
Now, don't be scared of the unknown. Come and meet us.
I'm Noel Brennan.
United is Denver International Airport's largest carrier, more than 40% of its flights. Now with a new hands-free deplaning surface that United rolled out or dragged out in Chicago last night. We set out to verify how often passengers get forced off these flights and your rights if it ever happens to you. The CEO of United apologized for having to reaccommodate the passenger, which is an interesting word for what's seen on the viral video. It's an extreme example of how a common practice can lead to conflicts. Federal regulators say 1 in 14,000 air passengers is involuntarily bumped from a flight. 8 times as many people agree to give up their seats. If you get bumped against your will, you get paid, depending on how much later you arrive at your destination. For instance, 2 or more hours late on a domestic flight, you get 4 times the cost of your ticket, up to $1,350. So maybe that's why the people on the United flight weren't going to budge for a measly $800. People get bumped because airlines overbook flights. They overbook flights because some people just don't show. It theoretically keeps airfares down by preventing planes from flying with very many empty seats. But as the internet taught us today, if they try to empty your seat and you're in it and you refuse, United may offer you complimentary hands-free deplaning. So there's a video circulating online this week that shows Jeremy Ahola from our 9 Wants to Know team in a difficult situation. Jeremy came across a man attacking a woman at Commons Park in Denver, and he made a split-second decision to get involved. What followed was ugly, but he thinks it's worth discussing.
Hey! Hey! Initially, I saw this guy place the girl in a headlock, and I was probably about 50 yards away. He was tossing around this poor woman pretty bad. I felt compelled this past week to write about this because I found out that this guy has a warrant in this case. He skipped out on a court date, and I just felt compelled, like, this guy was throwing this woman around pretty bad. And he had, you know, he had his hands around her throat, and you know, he's not respectful of the court. He's not respectful of what he's expected to do with the court. So I think it was just something inside me felt compelled to throw this out there.
Touch me! Touch me! Touch me! Touch me! Your dog loves me. Touch me! I will you up.
I didn't know what to say to this guy. I don't know why. You know, it was just something that I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I was going to do when I got up there. But when I saw his hands around her throat, I guess the first thing I said was, I'm not going to say it on camera now. I mean, I'll let you play the video.
You don't even know what is going on. You don't hit her. Cops, don't hit her. You.
He's still out there, and he's an abuser. He's someone that put his hands on a woman, and I think he needs to answer for that.
Recreational marijuana has been legal in Colorado since the end of 2012. There's no way to outlaw a stigma, and it certainly still surrounds many who choose to use cannabis. One woman in Colorado calls herself the stoner mom, and she'd like to have a word with you about stereotypes.
My name is Catherine Van Eaton, and I'm the stoner mom. man, I feel good and stoned. I'm very normal, standard mom, and I'm also a blogger and a vlogger and a user of cannabis. The purpose of the Stoner Mom is to shed a light on parenthood and adult use of cannabis. I really try to talk about responsible cannabis use as much as I can. I'm just working hard to break the stigma of cannabis users as being lazy, irresponsible, bad parents. So when mommy blogging became big, it was awesome because moms could be like, oh, I'm a mom and I do this, or oh, I'm a mom and I do that, right? There's all these different niches that they could get into in the context of being a mom. I'm a working mom, I'm a stay-at-home mom, I'm a Christian mom, I'm an atheist mom. Now that cannabis can be like introduced and attached to mom, you can do all those same things. I would get high with my girlfriend, you know, on like girls' night in, and we would just talk about how funny it was that we were secretly smoking pot and we were the same moms that you know, were home, not getting any sleep, or, you know, just that people didn't really know. That the mom at the grocery store with the enormous grocery bill is also a pothead. Cannabis use is okay, and you're not the devil if you use it and you're a parent.
If you know someone who is passionate about any topic, not just the ones you can smoke, let us know. We'll share their story with the rest of Colorado. Email next@9news.com or get our attention anytime with the hashtag HeyNext.